I don't want to set up the stream right now, but okay, let me get started. I have some issues with GMK Hanguk, and let's sort of go through that today. The first thing I will say is this is separated into sort of two large sections. Well, one's really small and one's large. So I'll go through the first section first. The first one is that it's a bad set. It doesn't look good. So you look at the base kit and taking all the marketing and the theming out of it, this is essentially a red, white, and blue set, right? And you step back and look at it, and you're like, I don't really know what I'm looking at. It doesn't have the colors don't really come together. So there's that. Second subsection to that is that basing a set off a country, I think, in my opinion, is pretty tacky. Like, imagine a set that's unironically themed after your country of residence. So, for example, GMK USA, that would be like red, white, and blue, and you'd have like flying eagles, ranch dressing, Doritos, that kind of stuff. You got GMK Canada, where you like meme on maple leaves, maple syrup, hockey, and that kind of stuff. So I think so there's a bit of like exoticism going on with like a East Asian country. So like American audiences might not really feel like it's tacky, but I'm Korean American and I feel that this is super tacky. All right, so getting that out of the way, I'm asserting that this is a bad set on its own merits. Now, I'm going to get into the next section, which is that this is also a problematic set. And I don't know what exactly the composition of my audience is, but if you guys are sort of similar to the Reddit mechanical keyboards subreddit, then you might not sort of like what I'm about to say. So you can go ahead and thumbs down if you'd like. But basically, my thesis is that this is a non-Korean designer. I'll go through this IC as well as everything else. All right. So starting from the beginning, you have the banner. It says GMK Hanguk. The Korean letters say 대한민국, which is sort of the long name for South Korea. That's, whatever. But the first picture you see, it's like, you look at it, that's kind of weird, right? That's a keyboard on like a KBBQ table with food on it. That's weird, and at the very least, pretty tacky. Alright, so getting into the description a little bit, we got GMK Hanguk, which stands for South Korea, is a keycap set completely revolving around all things Korean. And I don't know if I really agree with that. Keycap set completely revolving around all things Korean, especially. It's more like a key set revolving around maybe one or two things Korean, kind of stereotypically. So yeah, let's take a look at the kits. I'll get back to the issue with kit names later, but let's take a look at the base kit first. So you take a look, and I'm Korean American, and also I am an individual with an opinion. And I'm saying this doesn't really look like Korea to me. It doesn't scream Korea. I understand it's based off the flag, but the flag isn't really like the core idea behind Korean culture. So claiming that this represents Korea, I think, is entirely incorrect. And on my handy dandy little page here, I've listed flags that also are composed of red, white, and blue. I will read them all out here. Slovakia, Panama, Laos, Russia, Dominican Republic, Czech Republic, Croatia, France, Norway, Thailand, Samoa, Chile, Slovenia, New Zealand, the UK, Cape Verde, the US, Cambodia, Nepal, Paraguay, Liberia, Iceland, Netherlands, Cuba, Costa Rica, Luxembourg, Australia, and guess what the last thing is? North Korea. So if you look at the North Korean flag, it honestly, like, it's more close to this base kit than the South Korean flag. The North Korean flag features the reds and blues more prominently, whereas the South Korean flag is more whites. You could argue that this set is mostly white, but the accents coming in from the mods are just too prominent to really carry that idea. So my last issue with this base kit is that this numpad push in here. Specifically, it has the Korean sublegends. That's really weird. Like, imagine if your numpad had the number 1, the symbol 1, and then it had the English word one, O-N-E. That's what this looks like to me. Like, this is like super stupid. No Korean keyboard has this on it unless it's like some kind of weird novelty, and this is just super weird. All right, let me pause to look at the chat a little bit. Yeah, that doesn't reflect bibimbap. Shouldn't bibimbap be more reflective of a white base? Yeah, so I'll get to the kit names later. I take issue with kit names for sure. Oh, funny thing, sundae is often spelled sundae, like the ice cream dessert. I think that's a fun little tidbit. Yeah, I'll try and save this stream. I'll probably edit some of it down or something. All right, let's get into the next kit, bulgogi. I'll come back to the name. So this is a kit that has solely the Korean legends, omits the Latin stuff. So no Korean keyboard would actually do this. So every Korean keyboard does have the Latin, and this is something we've seen with Japanese sets before, where they have hiragana or katakana on without Latin legends, and some people who speak Japanese and who use Japanese keyboards come into those red threads and be like, hey, this keyboard is nothing like I've ever seen before. Like, this isn't real. But, you know, nobody cares. So this is kind of the same deal here. I have seen these control keys and alt keys before, so I think that's fine. Moving on to japchae. So japchae is this noodle dish in Korea. The only reason only like connection I can see to the Spacebars kit is you know, noodles are like kind of thin and long, and if you notice, Spacebars also kind of thin and long. So, you know, that's some max level connection there. That's all I have to say about that. So the novelties kit, of course, called kimchi. Here's where I'll go a little bit into detail about what I've learned in school briefly when I was in Korea. So you got these trigrams here, these lines, and then you got the circle thing, the taeguk. So taeguk is like this. There is significance to the combination of blue and red. Red is supposed to, I was taught, red is supposed to be like sort of the sunset, and then blue is supposed to be like sort of the water, and you're looking out into the horizon. And So the fact that this symbol is solely on red and solely on blue is kind of weird to me. I don't think it really works. And then you got the trigrams that are forced to be either in one column or one row. And that's also super weird because their position in relation to the two Taeguk is significant. Like it surrounds Taeguk in a specific order, and kind of forcing it down one way or across one way, it doesn't really work. Nextly, the enter key, it says 대한민국, which is the long name for Korea. That's like saying USA on your enter key. Super tacky, like that's weird. The bottom keys, the first one is it's Korean, like that's the national flower. I'd say that's okay. This is one of the palaces. I think that's okay. But this one, I take issue with the rice bowl. Like this one, I perceive as like the designer was like, oh, Korea's like an Asian country, right? And they eat rice there. Like I've seen iconography where chopsticks are in rice, so I'm gonna include it in this East Asian set. But that kind of goes against like traditional Korean manners, etc. So one interesting thing is that Koreans will eat with both chopsticks and spoons at the table. And I believe this is like one of the only East Asian cultures that still do that. And traditionally, it's considered rude to eat your rice with chopsticks. Though, like in the modern times, that's sort of gone away. People eat with chopsticks, but even now, sticking the chopsticks in the rice and leaving it there as if you're like gonna serve it like that, that's rude. Like I see that. I'm a younger generation. I see it, and I'm like, oh, don't do that. Like that's rude. And to put it here, to me, is a signal that the designer doesn't really understand much about Korean culture and how it works, even though this set seems to like kind of revolve around the food aspect of Korean culture. So this is like kind of missing on two fronts here. Let me stop to read the chat real quick. Eating bowls of rice with chopsticks is if you watch too much Japanese anime. I agree. Yeah, we don't even use chopsticks to eat rice. Yep. Yeah, it's rude. Comment section is full of normies. Well, I don't know what to say about that. Okay, moving on to the last kit. There's Black Day. So if you're not aware, Black Day is kind of like an anti Valentine's Day. It's for singles. You go out and eat jjajangmyeon, which is a noodle-based dish with black bean paste. And what do I have here? Yeah, so my question with this kit is that if the set is based on the Korean flag, why wasn't the black included in the base kit? Why is this like super sparse, what is that, 5-key kit included as an extra add-on? Like that to me kind of defies the stated goal of the set to kind of reflect the flag. I think like the trigrams are important to the flag. And to omit that is kind of like liberty taken on the designer's part. That's a little crossing the line for me. And like you could have called this trigram and added a couple more keys to have some more representation of the black in the base kit, but they didn't. So that's kind of dumb. Okay, now to address the kit names now that you've seen all of it. So most of these are named after foods, right? Except Black Day. And that to me is really weird. Like that seems like you're boiling down an entire culture down to like a couple dishes that are already popular and already known in the Western world, just so you can get that name recognition. And like it just rubs me the wrong way. Like you could have done GMK Korean food, GMK KBBQ, but then you wouldn't sort of have the liberty to base your kits off the Korean flag, right? So, in my opinion, there was no reason to use bibimbap, bulgogi, japchae, and kimchi as the kit names. Like it just doesn't fit. Like there's not a clear relation between Korean food specifically and the Korean flag. So I don't think that works. Yeah, let me flip through this. Yeah, also one last thing, Black Day kind of seems like, oh, that's kind of a wacky thing Korean people do, right? And I need a little bit of black in there because the flag has black and my entire key set is based on the flag, so I'll just call it Black Day. All right, okay, that sort of covers the kits and the kit names. What else? Okay, so the renders, I mean, they're whatever. I think the renders mostly work to give you an idea of how, like, not very good of a set it is. Like, it's kind of all over the place. Like, take a look at this TKL, like, the right side is blue. It's just kind of weird. Yeah, okay. The renders are whatever. Okay, now the desk mats. I take issue with the desk mats too. Starting with the least problematic, going up to the most problematic. The first one is the sort of the trigrams pattern. So I'm gonna be approaching this from the perspective of a Korean designer. Would a Korean designer design this? And for this one, I think maybe. Like a Korean designer might have designed this. I think if they did, it would be kind of tacky and like no one would really want to use it. Cause like it's kind of like having a pattern made of stars and stripes on a desk mat. Like that's weird and you wouldn't really want to use it. So this could have come from a Korean designer, but I wouldn't use it. That's my conclusion. The second one, this black one, I can maybe see it coming from a Korean designer, like putting the trigrams on the left side, like aligned like this, all in one line, and then putting the taeguk on the right side, like truncated. I don't know if a Korean person would have done that, and I don't know if that's really proper to do it that way, but I can see it as like a tacky desk mat that nobody would use. This last one though, the KBBQ one, a Korean person would not have come up with this one. I have lots of issues with it. Oh man, I have like a page and a half of notes on just this desk mat. Alright, before I get into it, let me check chat. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna be mentioning JTK Soju later on. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so getting into the KBBQ mat. So, let me remind you, this set is called GMK Hanguk, not GMK KBBQ. I mean, the designers ignored that up to this point, so what's even the point of mentioning it? But, okay, this is a KBBQ mat. And if you notice on the grill, you will see the taeguk pattern, right? And I think that's like a little on the nose about how this set is approaching to to represent the Korean flag and Korean culture. It's like, okay, Korea, I've heard about KBBQ, Korean flag has taeguk, I'm gonna place that in the grill. I have reduced all of Korean culture down to this desk mat, down to KBBQ. And That's offensive. I'm offended. I am very offended by this desk mat. And just to break down even the table setting itself, I think it's not even representative of KBBQ. You should go take a look at, what do you call it? Do Google Images on KBBQ tables, and you like some of the themes you'll see is that like there's plenty and variety, and this is like really sparse. It's a sparse table, and like this kind of minimalist kind of spread screams more to me like Japanese cuisine, where they care about like the individual ingredients, and like, you know, you're roasting 4 pieces of meat at a time. Like that's not really what Korea is about. We put like the whole fucking pack on the grill at once, and that's not reflected here. And just like it tries to go with the KBBQ theme, and it just freaking misses that too. And let's just take a look at what else we have here. This is supposed to be lettuce. You use it for some, but it kind of looks like cabbage leaves to me. Like it doesn't look good. Like you're grilling mushrooms here. I mean, maybe you might do that. I'm not really sure what this like stringy stuff is. Is this stuff like chopped up peppers? I mean, that would make sense. I don't know if you'd like put it in a big bowl like that, like a whole thing of it. Like if it's chopped green onions, that doesn't make sense. And like I don't even see kimchi here. Like is this orange stuff supposed to be kimchi? Like I don't know what's going on. One last thing on the chopsticks and what do you call it? Chopsticks and spoons. This like kind of chopstick situation, if you look up Google Images for KBBQ, you will most likely always see spoons there because of the spoon thing I mentioned. Like just including chopsticks here to me is a example of the designer misunderstanding and like not really even diving deep into what KBBQ even looks like. So that's disrespect. I don't like it. All right, so that about covers it on the desk mat front. What do you guys have to say? Yeah, most JP legends do it for looks. Metal chopsticks. Yeah, so Korean people use metal spoons and chopsticks. Like this is a big thing, and even restaurants will give you metal silverware. And like just using, like a restaurant wouldn't give you wooden silverware really. So that's weird. Like it doesn't represent Korean at all. Pork belly, like a big part of Korean barbecue is pork belly. This is all beef here. Is this how Japanese people feel? Like, yeah, that's what I've been wondering the whole time. This is the state of the hobby. All right, let's get a move on. All right, collaboration and marketing. So the Salvin cap, I mean, it's on a dish. There's chopsticks on the background. Like come on, dude. You gotta look at that and you're like, you gotta think that's goofy, right? And again, this is Korean color, artisan on a Korean flag. I think the artisan actually like maybe feels a little more Korean flaggy than the set does. But again, placing a keycap in front of a flag, that's like think about the country you live in. That's pretty tacky, right? Like I wouldn't want an eagle artisan in front of a US flag. That's ugly. It's weird, dude. Okay, and this one. This is so stupid. Like we have these coil cables and it does not appear to be a render. And they've gone ahead and placed chopsticks next to it, dropped some green onions on it, and what is that, sesame oil? They dripped some sesame oil. Like, what are you doing, my guy? Like, that's, come on. Like, take a step back and look at yourself, look at what you're doing, and ask yourself, man, is this stupid? All right, last one. I don't know why there are like several cable collabs. I like this guy's going all over the place with collabs, but so we have this the Lux Cables thing, and I think this is like the best example of Pepsi, especially this white streak in between blue and red. Like this is this is a Pepsi. This is a Pepsi cable. It's not a Korean cable. Yeah. Okay, moving on to vendors. I guess this is a call out time. Okay, first of all, I'm okay with the fact that there is a vendor in Korea willing to proxy this. I think for some people in Korea, there is a perception of, oh, the rest of the world doesn't know much about Korea, right? We gotta get the word out there, and it's like we should be grateful about any attention we get, no matter how ignorant. So I understand that. But from a American perspective, I'm a Korean American. I'm saying, you know, the rest of the world knows about Korea at this point, and we don't need to stoop to these levels of like accepting ignorance, accepting kind of low quality representation. We can get like what Koreans truly mean for like the essence of Korean culture without like without this kind of low effort attempt at representing the entirety of Korean culture. So that brings me to the point. USA vendor TX Keyboards. They are originally based in Korea, and they also operate in the US. And I believe they have a couple Korean Americans here. Shame on you, dude. Like, how can you see this and be like, oh, that represents me pretty good. I'm gonna run this set. Shame on you. All right. Moving on. Okay. Honorable mentions. I think it's kind of suspect that the OP decided to put Quad H as sort of the first honorable mention. Quad H, if you don't know, is the designer of the Salamander. He is based in Korea, and like this kind of seems to me like, oh, but my best friend is black kind of argument, right? Oh, one Korean dude said it was okay, so it must be good. And like, I just want to say, Quad H is not like the Korean president or the Korean king, or even speaks for half of us. And it's fine if a Korean person likes it, but I have issues with it. I'm a Korean person, and that's my opinion on it. Yeah, so let's see what's going on in chat. Okay, you guys arguing about semantics? National. Okay. All right. I guess that about covers it for me, I guess. In concluding, this is not a good looking set, first. Second, it's offensive. It's disrespectful. It doesn't represent Korea. It demonstrates the designer's lack of knowledge of Korea, and it's just not good. I did have a couple things written down for a conclusion. Let's see. Okay, so some things I want to clarify. Smokey is not Korean. I'm 99% sure. But I'm not saying the designer for the set has to be Korean. However, If your key set sets a lofty goal, such as representing an entire culture, you better do it right. Second point, marketing and kit names make this more of GMK KBBQ, but of course, if you adopted that name, you wouldn't be able to use your low effort red, white, and blue color scheme. I think JTK Soju, as someone mentioned in chat, is a really good way of doing it. It kind of latches onto one aspect of Korean culture. Soju is a type of like medium hard alcohol that's popular in Korea, and it covers some of the flavored aspects as well as some of the cute character stuff. And I think that set really does it well. And that set represents Korea way better than this set ever will. Let's see. Yeah, and I don't know, point number 3 or 4 or something. This set doesn't represent Korea. I think I've said that enough. For that, I think GMK Hallyu is a pretty good one. That one kind of explores the nightlife, kind of neon signs aspect of Korea. And again, it latches onto one aspect of Korean culture. And I think that's the way to do it. Like, GMK Hanguk better be like so spot on Korean culture for it to work. Like, there's a really high bar for that name, and it doesn't work. So I guess just to throw a couple more punches here. This set reeks of Wikipedia surface level understanding or even appreciation. Like, I'm not fully convinced that the designer is even a Koreaboo. I think Koreaboos would have done a way better job. And I suspect, my opinion, is that Japanese legend sets are kind of running low on cash. It's not becoming as profitable, and they're gonna be like, oh, what's another mystical East country that that we can capitalize on? And they're like, okay, let's do Korea first. Okay, cool. And I claim this is a cash grab. I guess that's it for all I've prepared for today. This is definitely the most quote-unquote toxic thing I've done ever. Let's see what you guys have to say. I feel like I haven't been seeing as much of GMK or Japanese legends nowadays. I don't think you should reimagine a nation's flag. And like also a key set. So subreddits like, what is it, Vexiology or something? They reimagine flags all the time, and I think that's like an appropriate space to do it. But a key set is just not a good medium for that. Let's see. Yeah, so Red Devils, I think Red Devils does it a little better. They did include the trigrams, which I don't think really fits. But I think Red Devil is not problematic, but it is kind of just a boring set for me. GMK Blink, I'm not really sure what that is. Oh yeah, so I did not go to the Korean keyboard communities for their opinions, and I don't really feel like I need to. It is the Korean culture, but like I think the response should come from uh, the same culture that the designer occupies, or some people who are familiar with it. GMK Pepsi, I agree. GMK K-pop is probably... Is that a thing or no? Based on Blackpink got cancelled. Oh, did Blackpink actually cancel GMK Blink? That's pretty crazy. Well, okay, but okay. I will say I am Korean American and I am personally offended. So in the end, this is my channel and I am just getting offended at you guys, or at the designer, towards you guys. Copyright too But yeah, I guess if I can figure out how to save this stream, I will do that. I am not in Australia, I am in the US. JYMV stands for JY Makes Videos. Well, faking Korean American for the clout. I don't know, if I design a keyboard, is it custom with a K, or is it just a regular custom? JY is my initials. Oh, anyway, okay, well, this is getting off topic, so I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. Thanks so much everyone for tuning in. I can't believe I got like 100 viewers. That's pretty crazy, but yeah, thanks for tuning in. I think I'm gonna release a new video this weekend. Not anything exciting. It's an orange 80, but stay tuned. See you guys.